Well, good morning. Welcome to day 29 of Pray the Psalms. Today, we're going to look at Psalm 116. So let me read that for us as we start. I love the Lord because he hears my voice and my prayer for mercy. Because he bends down to listen, I will pray as long as I have breath. Death wrapped its ropes around me. The terrors of the grave overtook me. I saw only trouble and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Lord. Please, Lord, save me. How kind the Lord is, how good he is, so merciful, this God of ours. The Lord protects those of childlike faith. I was facing death, and he saved me. Let my soul be at rest again, for the Lord has been good to me. He saved me from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling. And so I walk in the Lord's presence as I live here on earth. I believed in you, so I said, I am deeply troubled, Lord. In my anxiety, I cried out to you. These people are all liars. What can I offer the Lord for all he has done for me? I lift up the cup of salvation and praise the Lord's name for saving me. I will keep my promises to the Lord in the presence of all of his people. The Lord cares deeply when his loved one dies. O Lord, I am your servant. Yes, I am your servant, born into your household. You saved me from my chains. I will offer you a sacrifice of thanksgiving and call on the name of the Lord. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of all of his people, in the house of the Lord, in the heart of Jerusalem. Praise the Lord. So when I started to read this psalm, probably three, four, five more maybe times, it seems clear to me that this is a psalm of salvation, of the psalmist reflecting on God's saving him. He asks this question of what, in verse 12, what can I offer the Lord for all he has done for me? This is a great question. I think for us to just ponder and to meditate on what can we offer the Lord for all he's done for me. This shows that we are indebted to him, that what he has done for us is far greater than anything we could ever offer to him. And we see this in this psalm. Three times the psalmist talks about being saved, and he paints these word pictures, which to me, I just try to imagine what this looks like. Put myself, I'm asking you to put yourself in the shoes, in the place of this psalmist, and what are they seeing and feeling? You think of like verse 1, I love the Lord because he hears my voice and my prayer for mercy, because he bends down to listen. And we've talked about this in the other psalms about God looking down and bending down, but put yourself in that place where he says, I will pray as long as I have breath. As long as I'm breathing, I'm going to be communicating with you. And you are bending down, leaning over, turning your ear to hear because you care so much for me. And then he starts to talk about death. And again, the word pictures that he creates, death wrapped its ropes around me. Right? That gives us some feelings of claustrophobia, at least for me. The terrors of the grave overtook me. I saw only trouble and sorrow. Can you put yourself in that place? If we've come to a place where you put our faith in Jesus, then we've experienced that. We understand the power that death has over us apart from Jesus. He says, then I called on the name of the Lord. Save me, right? Please, Lord, save me. And then how kind he is, how good he is, so merciful. He protects those of childlike faith, right? We put our faith in him, just a simple faith. We just trust that his way is better, that he is our source of salvation. He says he let my soul be at rest again, right? Our souls are not at rest when we are not in the right relationship with God. He saved me from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling. And so I walk in the Lord's presence as I live here on earth. His whole life has changed, the direction of his life, how he's living, what he's doing in response to God saving him, God bending down, hearing his prayer for salvation. He says in, what verse? I lost it. That he broke the chains, right? He's freed me. In verse 10, I am your servant born into your household. You have freed me from my chains. Those things that bind us, that he frees us from them. He gives us freedom through him. And some people think that when you start to follow God, you put your faith in Jesus and become a believer, that you lose all your freedom, that now you have to do things you don't want to do. You have to live a certain way. But the reality is that lifestyle is a response for what God has done. When we can grasp as much as we can with our finite human minds how big and how great God is, and then how much He loves us individually, that His Son would die. He says, I lift up the cup of salvation in verse 13. And when I read that, anytime I read about a cup, I think about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, who was praying in deep anxiety and stress. God, if there be any way to take this cup from me, and it wasn't the cup of salvation, it was the cup of wrath. And because Jesus took the cup of wrath on himself, then we can lift up the cup of salvation, because that's what we've been given. So let me read my prayer for you today, and I hope that this helps you formulate yours as you go through the psalm. Father, I love you because you hear my voice and my prayer for mercy. You bend down to listen. Help me to pray to you for as long as I have breath. If I'm praying, you are bending down to listen. You saved me when you heard my cry. I put my faith in your Son, and you saved me. My soul is at rest because I've been reconciled with you. Our relationship has been restored. Help me to walk in your presence. I want to praise you for saving me. You care for me. Help me to keep my promises to you. You have given me freedom. You have freed me from my chains. Help me to serve you with this life that you have given me. May I live a life of sacrifice to you. So I hope that helps you formulate your prayer. Read the psalm a couple times, kind of just pause, think about the picture that he's painting, put yourself in that place, and then write out your prayer to him. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day.